Hello, welcome to my channel. I discuss religious fundamentalism, and today I'm going to be covering Josh Duggar's latest appeal to get his conviction for CSAM overturned. So if you don't know who Josh Duggar is, he is the oldest son of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, who starred in 19 Kids and Counting for several years on TLC. He was convicted of being in possession of CSAM in December 2021. His dad, Jim Bob Duggar, paid for his attorneys and everything while also lying on the stand about Josh molesting children back in the early 2000s. That was covered in 2015. There's some articles about it that I will list down below. Now, I'm not going to name any of the victims. They were named back then, but there are some articles that don't name them. Two of the victims did come forward in 2015 and discuss it on Fox News with Megyn Kelly before she went off the rails. Getting back to his appeal, he has tried to appeal his conviction several times. He's been in prison for 4 years now. I guess his dad finally said, hey, I'm not going to pay your bills anymore because Josh is currently begging for a public defender. Now, his odds of overturning the conviction with a public defender are not great. He also has said he might represent himself. Also, not a great chance. He's not a member of the bar. He really doesn't know what he's doing. But basically, his claims are. So one of his claims is something that was used during the trial, and he is saying that one of his employees, Caleb Williams, also had access to his work computer where the CSAM was found by investigators. And Caleb Williams also has a troubled past. He is a registered sex offender as well. But he had an alibi. He was out of the state at the time. This was brought up during the trial and everything like that, like I said. He's also saying that a witness tampered with the evidence. And he also claims that Bobye Holt, who was a former Duggar family friend who testified as a witness in the trial, that she was testifying basically out of spite and that she was upset that her daughter didn't get to marry Josh. So if you're familiar with the story, Bobye and Jim Holt was a childhood friend of Jim Bob, who's Josh's dad. They had a daughter who was betrothed to Josh Duggar at the age of 14. Josh is arguing basically that Bobye was upset that her daughter wouldn't get to marry Josh. So going back to 2003, the final time alleged that we know of that Josh Duggar was caught molesting a child, and this was more than just molestation actually. And this is separate also from the CSAM. These previous incidents in the early 2000s, he was a teenager. He did not get charged, not because he was a teenager, but because his parents didn't go to police and the statute of limitations passed by the time the police found out about these incidents. But anyway, in March of 2003, the Duggar parents went to Jim and Bobye Holt and said, hey, we've got to talk to you about something. And then Josh confessed basically to messing around with one of the victims who was 4 or 5 years old at the time, and he was 15. And so he and his parents viewed this as cheating on his girlfriend at the time, who's the daughter of Jim and Bobye. And they were very disturbed to hear this. Obviously, that is a little bit more than cheating. And several years later, as Bobye testified on the stand during the trial, she said she did not know the gravity or the extent of the molestation until several years later. And at the time, he was living in her house, like when he was 17, 18 years old, something like that. And so she kicked him out of the house. She said the families ceased being friends after this because of the fallout from the 2003 admission. And by the way, there were several incidents. This first course of events were revealed in 2015. A police report was leaked. Unfortunately, it did list the victims, and all these news sites and everything were publishing the names of the victims. It was awful. Another point Josh is making in his filing is that I guess he's mad that he's making a claim of false attribution, prejudicial use of a corporate-driven statement. He is claiming that the government used a statement posted to his family's Facebook page from the 2015 incident where everybody discovered that he had molested young girls as a teenager. So basically, several months later, I forgot about this, but several months later, it was discovered that he had like hired a prostitute and he was addicted to porn and he'd been cheating on his wife with like a stripper and stuff like that, and probably numerous other women. His parents posted a statement from him on their Facebook page and saying he was addicted to porn. And then pretty much some people in the family, a few people in the family have come out and said, like some of his siblings have said, hey, we realized that he had not changed when he admitted that he was addicted to porn and cheating on his wife, which is a little bit different than being, a little bit of a separate issue from being a sex offender. At the 2021 trial, you know, everything came out that, you know, some of his siblings and family members were there for sitting in the trial almost every day, and they saw the evidence that was presented. Anyway, that's what he's claiming. That's what Josh is claiming in his filing. Also, his prison sentence has been extended twice now. First time he was caught with a phone that had been smuggled in. Can't imagine who might be doing that for him. And then the second time, I guess we don't really know. I haven't really seen anything. But anyway, to wrap it up, yeah, I don't think he's gonna get his conviction overturned. They've already proven some of the stuff in the trial and everything, and just, yeah, representing yourself if you're not a member of the bar is just rarely a good idea. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope to keep updating this channel a little more regularly now. I will do another post when the judge makes a decision.